She's with another man and you know it. The betrayal feels like fire in your chest, and yet you still love her. That love is what makes you dangerous to yourself, because love after betrayal turns men into beggars, and beggars lose everything. But here's the truth. You don't have to be destroyed. There are 9 steps that can pull you out of this trap. 9 things you must do before you make a single decision. Skip them, and you'll regret it for the rest of your life. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share might just save you from yourself. You're not the only one going through this. Men from every walk of life have faced this same pain, and the choices they made shaped their entire future. Subscribe right now if you want to make sure your choices lead to strength, not regret, and comment below. Are you watching this because you've lived it, or because you fear one day you might? Either way, stay with me because the next truth may sting, but it's the one you need most. Number 1, you must face the cold reality. When a woman cheats, it rarely comes out of nowhere. Most men convince themselves it was a sudden slip, a careless mistake, something that can be brushed off if they just forgive quickly enough. But that's a dangerous illusion. By the time she crosses that line, her heart has usually been gone for a long time. The cheating is not the beginning of the end. It's the confirmation that the bond was already broken. This is where many men fail. They cling to the fantasy of who she used to be instead of confronting who she has already become. They replay memories of when she was loyal, when she smiled only at them, when intimacy felt secure. But memory won't save you. The woman standing in front of you today is not the same one you once trusted. And pretending otherwise is self-deception that will cost you even more. You need to remove the blindfold. Stop asking, how could she do this to me, and start asking, why didn't I see it coming? The signs were there. The distance, the excuses, the shift in her energy. You just didn't want to face them. Now the truth is undeniable. And the longer you delay accepting it, the deeper the wound will cut. Here's the hardest part. She betrayed you. Not at the moment she slept with someone else, but at the moment her heart left the relationship while you were still holding on. That's when you truly lost her. If you can't accept this cold reality, every step that follows will collapse. This is the foundation. Without it, you'll keep negotiating with illusions instead of dealing with truth. Number 2, you must turn the spotlight on yourself with ruthless honesty. After betrayal, most men obsess about her actions. Where she went, who she was with, what she said. But the brutal truth is, the most important questions are the ones you must ask yourself. Because before you decide whether to hold on or to let go, you need to know exactly what you're holding on to. Start by stripping away every excuse. Has she done this before? If she has a history of being unfaithful, then you're not dealing with a one-time event. You're staring at a pattern. And patterns don't vanish because of apologies. Next, ask, why did she cheat? Some men want to believe cheating is just cheating, but context matters. Was it a careless night fueled by alcohol and poor judgment? Or was it an affair that stretched for months, maybe years, where emotions were invested, secrets were built, and intimacy was redirected away from you? One is reckless, the other is a full replacement. They are not the same. Then confront the state of the relationship before it happened. Were you drifting apart? Was she voicing dissatisfaction that you ignored? Or did she blindside you when you thought things were perfectly fine? The answers here are not about justifying her actions. They are about exposing the truth of what your relationship really was. This process will hurt. It will tear down the image you've built of your relationship, the version you wanted to believe in. But unless you face these questions with ruthless honesty, you will make decisions based on emotion, not reality. And decisions made in desperation almost always chain men to the very pain they're trying to escape. Number 3, you need to determine whether her betrayal was driven by compulsion or by conscious choice. This distinction matters more than most men realize. Treating them as the same thing will trap you in confusion and waste precious time. Compulsion looks like this. She repeatedly seeks attention or intimacy outside the relationship, often without clear reasoning, almost as if she cannot control the urge. It may be linked to deeper psychological issues, patterns of self-sabotage, an inability to commit, or even a craving for validation that no single partner can satisfy. In these cases, she might not even take real pleasure in what she's doing. It's simply an addictive loop she struggles to break. That doesn't make it any less painful. but it means you're dealing with something rooted in her inner wiring, not necessarily in your shortcomings. Choice, however, is very different. When she plans it, hides it, and maintains it, that's not compulsion. It's intent. It's when she evaluates her options, knows the risks, and still decides to betray. That is a declaration of her values. And once you see it for what it is, you can no longer fool yourself into believing she just slipped. Ask her directly, does she feel in control of her urges, or was this something she calculated? Does she even acknowledge the difference? Her response will tell you more than you think. But don't confuse her excuses for answers. Many women will claim, I don't know why, it just happened. When in reality, it was carefully orchestrated. If it's compulsion, she needs professional help, not just promises. If it's choice, then you must face the fact that she betrayed because she wanted to. One can possibly be managed, the other is a permanent red flag. Don't blur the line. Your future depends on seeing it clearly. Number 4. You need the right support system. Betrayal is heavy. Trying to carry it alone will crush you. But here's the danger. Most men in their pain run straight to the wrong people. They rant to colleagues, vent to her friends, or even worse, confide in her family. That's not strength. It's self-destruction. Every word you spread becomes fuel for gossip, judgment, and manipulation. When you've been cheated on, your reputation is already fragile. If you open your wounds in front of the wrong audience, you hand them power over your story. You become the man who couldn't keep his woman, and those words will echo long after the pain fades. You cannot afford that. What you need is selective, disciplined support. Reach out only to the people who knew you before her. The ones whose loyalty is to you, not to her, not to your relationship, but to your well-being. It could be a longtime friend, a brother, or a mentor you trust. Tell them what happened. Not to get instructions, but to have a safe place to process the chaos in your mind. Make it clear. You're not asking them to make decisions for you. You're asking for perspective. Maybe just a listening ear. Sometimes saying the words out loud to someone you trust helps you hear your own truth more clearly. But always draw the line. Don't bleed your pain into every corner of your life. Don't tell her best friend, her coworkers, or mutual acquaintances. That's not release, that's exposure. Your support system is your shield, not your stage. Build it wisely, and it will steady you while you prepare for the decisions ahead. Build it carelessly, and it will become another battlefield where you lose control. Number 5. You must confront the question of compatibility. Not every betrayal comes from boredom or anger. Sometimes it comes from a deeper truth. She doesn't believe in monogamy. There are women who can't or won't stay with one partner. They crave variety, freedom, or the thrill of new connections. And if that's who she is at her core, no amount of pleading or promises will reshape her. This is where men destroy themselves. They convince themselves that love is enough to bridge the gap. They think if they love harder, forgive faster, or perform better, she'll suddenly embrace loyalty. That's a fantasy. Values don't bend under pressure. They either align or they don't. If she rejects exclusivity, and you believe in it fully, you are not partners. You are opponents fighting under the same roof. Ask yourself, could you ever accept an open relationship? Could you live with the idea of her seeking intimacy with others while still calling you her partner? If the thought alone makes your stomach turn, then you already have your answer. Trying to force yourself into that arrangement will break you piece by piece. On the other hand, if you truly believe you can handle openness, you need to define the rules with absolute clarity. But let's be honest, most men who say they're okay with it are just terrified of losing her completely. They compromise out of fear, not conviction. And compromise built on fear is the quickest road to self-destruction. Compatibility is not about how much you want her back. It's about whether your core values match. If they don't, then clinging to her is not love, it's self-betrayal, and that betrayal is far more devastating than anything she's done to you. Number 6. You must take a tactical pause. When you first discover betrayal, your emotions will scream for action. You'll want to explode in rage, demand explanations, or worse, beg her to stay. That is exactly what you must not do. Because the moment you lose control, you hand her all the power. Silence and distance are not weakness. They are strategy. After the shock, step back. Create space between you and her. Give yourself the time to breathe, to clear your mind, and to regain your composure. If you rush in with anger or desperation, You set the tone for the entire aftermath, and it will be one of chaos. During this pause, focus inward. What are your boundaries? What are you absolutely unwilling to tolerate? What would need to change for you, even to consider rebuilding? Write it down if you have to. This is not about her yet. It's about you stabilizing yourself before re-engaging. Then when you are ready, initiate a conversation. Speak calmly but firmly. Ask the questions that matter. What led to this? Was it about unfulfilled needs, or was it about choices she made knowing full well the consequences? Listen, but do not surrender your position. This is not a negotiation to win her back. It's a fact-finding mission to decide whether she even deserves a place in your life. And remember this, a pause carries more strength than begging ever will. Space communicates that you are not dependent on her validation. It tells her without words that you are a man who can stand on his own. In betrayal, that posture is your shield. Number 7, you must reach the decision point. Every man who has been cheated on eventually faces this crossroad. Do you stay and attempt to rebuild, or do you walk away and reclaim your life? Most men delay this choice, clinging to uncertainty because it feels safer than the pain of a final answer. But indecision is its own form of destruction. So here's the truth. Staying is only an option if both of you are fully committed to change. That means she takes accountability without excuses, and you are willing to face uncomfortable truths about the relationship. It means setting new standards, defining new boundaries, and both of you working toward them without half measures. If either of you is unwilling, then the relationship is already finished. You're just delaying the burial. On the other hand, you must recognize when walking away is the only sane choice. If your core values clash, if you demand loyalty while she demands freedom, there is no compromise that won't poison you. If she minimizes her betrayal, blames you, or refuses transparency, then staying is not rebuilding. It's self-erasure. This is where many men fail. They let fear of being alone trap them in situations that slowly dismantle their dignity. They convince themselves that suffering together is better than starting over. But there is no honor in living with someone who disrespects your most fundamental boundaries. So decide with clarity and courage. Staying requires both of you to rise. Leaving requires only you. Either way, the worst choice is no choice at all. Indecision keeps you chained to the pain. A man who knows his values and acts on them is free no matter the outcome. Number 8. If you choose to stay, understand this. What you had before is gone. The relationship that existed before betrayal is dead. Trying to get back to how it was is impossible, and chasing that illusion will only drag you deeper into frustration. If you stay, you are not repairing the old relationship. You are building a new one from scratch. That means new rules, new expectations, a new foundation built on absolute clarity. What are your non-negotiables? What boundaries must never be crossed again? What will trust look like now, and how will it be measured? These questions must be answered not in vague promises, but in specific agreements. Without that, forgiveness is nothing more than a bandage over a wound that will reopen. It also means mutual commitment. You cannot rebuild alone. If you are the only one making sacrifices, the structure will collapse. She must demonstrate real accountability, consistent transparency, and visible effort. If she shrugs it off saying, "Let's just move forward," understand that what she really means is, "Let's forget I ever betrayed you." And that attitude will rot the foundation before you lay the first brick. Practical steps matter. Consider professional counseling to help create a safe space for dialogue. Get medical checkups to eliminate risks left behind by betrayal. Introduce routines that reestablish intimacy and connection. But remember, progress will be slow and setbacks will come. Above all, remind yourself every day, this is not the same relationship, and it never will be. You are either both building something new, or you are wasting energy on something already buried. Staying can work, but only if it feels like growth. If it feels like slow decay, you are not rebuilding. You are sentencing yourself to live in ruins. Number 9. You must prepare for the psychological aftermath. Cheating doesn't just break trust. It leaves scars that alter the way you see relationships, women, and even yourself. If you ignore these scars, they will quietly control your decisions, shaping your future through fear and bitterness. But if you confront them, they can become armor. Understand this. Trust will not snap back into place. Every disagreement, every late text, every unexplained absence will trigger doubt. That's not paranoia. It's the residue of betrayal. You need to accept that healing takes time, and during that time, you must guard your emotions. Guarding doesn't mean closing your heart forever. It means refusing to hand over blind faith to anyone who hasn't earned it. Do not let this experience turn you into a cynical shell who sees every woman as guilty before proven innocent. That is weakness disguised as toughness. Real strength is the ability to recognize risk while still living with clarity and purpose. Learn to observe patterns, not excuses. Learn to walk away at the first sign of disrespect, not after years of erosion. Most importantly, upgrade yourself. Use the pain as fuel. Build your body, sharpen your mind, grow your finances, strengthen your network. Betrayal can either shrink you or expand you, and that choice is yours. Never forget, she may have shattered your trust, but the greater danger is if you allow her to shatter your identity. Betrayal forces a man to either resurrect himself stronger or bury himself weaker. Which outcome you choose will echo through every relationship you ever have again. You've just walked through 9 strategic steps. From facing the cold reality to questioning yourself with ruthless honesty to distinguishing compulsion from choice. From building the right support system to confronting compatibility to pausing strategically before you talk. From making the hard decision to building a new relationship, if you stay to arming your mind for the aftermath. These steps aren't theory, they are survival. Not every man will have the strength to follow them. Some will collapse in denial, hoping the problem disappears. Others will drown in emotion, making desperate choices that bind them to more pain. But a few will rise. They will see betrayal for what it is, not just a wound, but a test. And how you respond to that test will define the man you become. Understand this, surviving infidelity is not about her, it's about you. It's about whether you allow one act of betrayal to destroy your dignity, or whether you use it as the fire that forges you into someone stronger. It's about refusing to let her actions dictate your future. It's about reclaiming control, not only over the relationship, but over your life. If this message hit you where it hurts, leave a comment below. Share what step you're struggling with, or what truth finally snapped you awake. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss another breakdown of the hidden games in relationships. And if you know a man who's stuck in this nightmare, share this video with him. Sometimes the harshest truth is the only lifeline that saves a man. She may have cheated. That's her betrayal. But the greater danger is if you betray yourself by ignoring reality, by clinging to illusions, by selling out your values just to keep someone who already left you. Remember this. She can betray you once, but only you can betray yourself for life.